Okay, hello, good morning. Hopefully, this is going out live. It's me, Nigel T. Best, testing for the first time uh, using Restream.io. I've had it for a while, haven't got going with it, but I just want to try and get it out there. Today is a very important day. Never mind the first one of these. It's so important because it is World Mental Health Day. And, with my podcast, What's My Superpower? I wanted to come today on the World Mental Health Day and just try and kind of make a bit of sense of this crazy thing because everybody needs to reveal their superpower at some point, and today is as good a day as any to get your superpower out. Dust it off. If you didn't know you had one, it's time to discover it. It's time to get out there because the world needs us. The world needs superheroes. I'm a part-time superhero. But if you're thinking, what on earth is he doing? Because this is going out on, what else? The Business Profit Club. So I'm involved in that. It's a business helping people. My What's My Superpower YouTube channel and hopefully Facebook. It'd be interesting if it works. I've got a YouTube notification. Somebody about concrete countertops. Don't know where that's come from. But there we go. My site, Nigel T. Best, and the Best Business Show as well, because obviously with a name like Best, you've got to make sure you live up to your name, haven't you? Absolutely. So, should we get going? All right. So this morning, I didn't know it was World Mental Health Day today. I didn't know it, but I've just been watching the breakfast news. And if you are a fan of Avicii's music, you will know that sadly 2.5 years ago, he passed away. And his father, Klaas Bergling. So Tim Bergling was Avicii's real name. His father, Klaas, was on there talking about, in the age of coronavirus and the age of pandemics, suicide is definitely right up there with it. They are saying that there's 800,000 people a year think that's it. Think that it's not for me. I'm getting out of here for whatever reason. That figure alone just staggered me, and it just made me think. We need superpowers more than ever. I'd like to class myself as a part-time superhero. Sometimes the voice inside my head says, don't be so ridiculous. And it puts me down and it makes me shut up and it makes me think, what are you doing? So you have to fight that inner demon, don't you? But what I think we all have in this life is a choice. We all have a choice. But I was just before we get on to how you get about choosing, I was just thinking this is absolutely staggering. 800,000 people. I mean, the world has gone into virtual lockdown, and we have lost 1 million people through that. But each and every year, we're losing very similar numbers for, I don't know, many reasons. There will be many, many, many reasons. And with that sort of number, that means that an awful lot of people have been affected by this. Not just the people who decide that that's what they want to do, but everyone else that is left behind. It's crazy, folks. Hey, we got to do something about this, don't we? We have to do something about this. And listening to him talk on the interview about it, it's incredible. And those reasons, the question is always, do you know why? Looking back, can you see signs? And I don't think he kind of said, I don't think we ever know what's going on in here for a lot of people. We just sometimes don't. Even people you live with, for so long. Do you really know what's going on in their head? Do you know what? Sometimes I'm not even sure what goes on in my head. All I know is that I have got voices in my head that tell me on occasion, you're not good enough. You're not worth anything. You know, what's the point? And then I've got another voice in there that says, do you know what? Today's going to be an amazing day. And you're going to help people out. And you're going to somehow do something, that ripple effect. You know, where you get a pebble and you drop a stone in a pond and the ripples go out. And those ripples of greatness, you know, and help and support and love go out and ripple out across the pond. And I'm thinking, they're the days that I want. And one of the things that I help, you know, and it was told to me by a guy called, and I always get his surname wrong, Alan Clenahans, South African guy, and he gave a talk that just it was just a local talk. There was only about 30 of us there, and he just talked through it, and he said one of the first things you should do in the morning is start off in the right way. So this morning I did it as I've done pretty much every morning ever since I heard him talk about that, which is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And I wake up and I say, either in my head or out loud, now, say it out loud. If you're the first one awake and you're married or whatever, you know for a fact, if the person alongside you is still asleep, they're going to go, oh, will you shut up? So sometimes it just goes on in my head, but I say to myself, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is you know, God, do you know when you put yourself on the spot, what do I say? I say, good morning, good morning, good morning. Today, what? Do you know, I've had a mental block. Today is a beautiful day. No, good morning. Well, you can tell it's live, can't you? Good morning, good morning. I'll come back to it. But do you know, when you get into a habit, and if you're in a certain situation, you remember it like that. And if you put yourself in a different situation, your mind goes blank. All right, at this point, people are going to be thinking, all right, bestie, I think you are losing it, matey, and you need to get a checkup from the neck up. Yeah, maybe, maybe. And that voice in my head is saying, what a clown. You've even put this on film. You've even put this out there. The fact that you can't remember, good morning, good morning. Oh, I love my life, and today is my favorite day. I am truly blessed. There you go. Good morning, good morning. I love my life, and today is my favorite day. I am truly blessed. Now, what does that do? Well, I tell you what, when you say that to yourself, you start the day thinking, today's my favorite day. You know, you already think, you know, you're lucky, you're very fortunate, you're grateful for everything. You go to the bathroom, you turn on and you got hot water. You can have a shower, you can have a drink of clean water. There's so much to be grateful about. What a way to start the day. But, you know, that's how I started my day. And you think to yourself, that is obviously not how an awful lot of people start their day. But on the what's my superpower, is that just me sharing that? Just start with a positive statement? Might that make someone's, you know, could that be a pebble in a pond that helps other people? I hope so. Because Alan said it to the group, you know, when he was giving this talk, and it wasn't quite what he said. But I took it and I kind of adapted it and wrote my own, or came up a little bit of my own. And that has made a difference. It has made a difference. I tell you how it manifests itself as making a difference. I get out of bed, you know, quicker. You know, back goes the duvet and I'm out. Now, sometimes if I've played five-a-side football the night before and my legs feel like they're now made of timber, you know, a couple of bits of 4x2 wood, I don't get out quite as quick. But, you know, you say, you pull back the duvet, you're out, you're up, and yeah, come on, today's my favorite day. There's not, you know, everything's going my way. And it's just that I choose to say it. Because how many people, when they wake up, go, oh no, oh no, 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 oh no. It's morning again, I've got to get up. Oh no. I've got all these problems to face, and I've got this and I've got that. Oh, no, no, no. Look at it, it's terrible. Leaks in the roof, I've got no water, I've got no electricity, how am I going to pay the bills? Okay, I'm very lucky that at the moment I have a roof, I can pay my bills. But how many of us are in the same position where we have a roof over our heads, we've got food in the fridge, we've got running water, we can pay the bills, but we still get up thinking, oh no, why today, I'm not looking forward to today. How can you not look forward to a day? Because that day holds a wealth of possibilities, a chance to just improve a bit, a chance to help someone else, a chance to reveal your superpower to the world, a chance to get out there and make a difference. Folks, we have a way that we can start the day in a positive frame of mind or a negative frame of mind. I say to you on this particular episode of here going live, what's my superpower? Choose to make a difference to your day by starting off in a really positive way. Yeah? All right. There's first thing. So I'm listening to the interview from Avicii's dad, and he's talking about it, and that it must be the age-old question, did you recognize any signs in your son that said he was going to take such a drastic step and actually commit suicide? And his father kind of said no. And I guess you just never know why people feel they have to take that step and the reasons that they do that. Can we ever know? No, I don't think we can. And a lot of people, when I think when they do studies on this and they ask friends, families, loved ones, did you expect this? Did you expect it to happen? The answer comes back no. And it's only sometimes on reflection, when people find out more about it, that you spot signs retrospectively that you think, maybe it was that. But how many of us sometimes bitch and moan and say, everything's going wrong, it's a terrible day. And we kind of think, you're just having a bad day. You're just having a bad day, and we kind of brush it off. We all have bad days. We all have days which are pretty shit, and they're all great, and all the rest of it. And how many people just sort of think, I can see why he tried to do this and it didn't work, or he was doing that and he's lost his job. Yeah, okay. But we don't know how deep that goes, and we don't know what the conversation is going on inside there, do we? We don't sometimes appreciate and understand the one that's going on in our own heads half the time. So did we expect it to happen? No. But I tell you what, we need to have our radar out. We need to be on alert, because apparently 3 out of every 4 suicides in the UK are men, and the majority of those are in the younger age group, young men. So if you've got friends, or I'm kind of now on alert. I've got 3 kids, eldest is at university. It's kind of right. I need to tune in here and just make sure that some of the things that people think about at certain ages. Think back to you. If you're kind of my age or whatever, think back to when you were young. You had doubts, you had insecurities, you lacked confidence, you didn't have world knowledge, you didn't appreciate things. And it's only now when you look back and you think, wow, I could have gone really downhill on that thought process. What stopped me? I don't know. I don't know what did. I think maybe it's because I feel there's so much I want to do. There's so much I want to do. Go out, the people to meet, places to see, things to do, the lives that you can affect in a positive way. A business, I love business, even though it can drive you to distraction. I love that sort of thing, and I love sharing knowledge. I love seeing other people succeed. I love seeing the reaction of people when you make a difference. And maybe that was far stronger. Maybe that side of the voice in my head was much stronger with the one that said, you're a waste of space. But hey, we all wake up sometimes, and even if you say you're positive sort of comment, you jump out of bed, the first 3 things that happen go wrong. So, you squeeze the toothpaste and it shoots out the tube and goes over your feet. You go downstairs, you're making a cup of coffee and you drop it and you spill it and smash the mug. And then you go out and you got a flat tire on your car. These things, you got to either sort of just roll with the punches, expect it to happen, but you also need to be able to deal with it, I think, sometimes. And I think sometimes, we maybe struggle with that. But going back to what causes this, it's amazing, but is it a combination of, do some people think it's cool to take this drastic step? I don't know. Do some people have a vision that it's somehow, you know, um, incredibly, amazing to have done it, and you'll be noticed and remembered? I don't know. But to me, I'd rather be noticed about something and be able to see people's reaction. So I'd want to be part of the reaction, the positive thing. If I did something really good, I'd want to be there and enjoy it. I wouldn't want to not be there and not be sure. But I think there's obviously money is an issue. A lot of people will say, "We'll put money," but if that was purely the issue, then people who were rich wouldn't commit suicide, and yet we know that people who are rich do. So it can't really be money, because the lack of it or having enough of it doesn't seem to stop one group or the other from ever doing this. So what is it? Is it love? Is it the first person you should always love is yourself, which is, again, probably that voice in your head is going, "What a stupid thing to say, Nige. That is just ridiculous." No, 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 no. If you're not in love with yourself, then I think you're going to struggle elsewhere. So we need to start there. And home is where the heart is. I'd say the heart is where the home is, and it's your heart, and you've got to make your home there, and you've got to love living there. You've got to enjoy living in your body, because, where else are you going to live? You can't do body swaps at the moment. That's something for Futurama or an episode in that program, which the kids have on all the time. But it's something that you got to think, right? What am I doing? Is it love? Do I love myself? If you don't love yourself, can you love anyone else? I think you can. And I think there's times when you don't like yourself, and maybe sometimes people have put stuff out there on social media. So at the moment, my voice in my head is saying, "You're putting this out there. People are going to go, 'You're an absolute idiot,' and you're going to get the haters, the trolls, or whatever it might be." You got to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm fine with that, because I'm solid here. I've got a good foundation here. Not only do I like myself, I love myself." And not in a, some people will go, "That's very vain." No, 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 no. I liken it to, if you're building a house, you want good, solid foundations. That's your solid foundation. So in the What's My Superpower, make your superpower the ability to love yourself unconditionally. Doesn't matter what you do, or anything like that. Just make sure you have that as a solid foundation. But what could it be? What could the combination of factors be that, make people do this? I think you can probably drive yourself up the wall if you try and work it out, and if you try to come up with a formula. I think it's just incredible, very difficult to actually work out what it could be. And I think maybe we shouldn't necessarily try and look retrospectively. So don't look through the rear window when you're driving. Let's look out the windscreen. Let's see if we can make some, maneuvers and things to do as we're looking forward that can help. And I think one of the things that, if anyone is thinking, especially when sometimes, I don't know if this is right or wrong, when people think it'd be cool. People will think it'd be cool, I'll be the coolest to actually take this step, commit suicide. And people will think, "Wow, that's amazing," and all the rest of it. Yeah. Okay. That may well be your thoughts. But I know that if it was a friend, a loved one of mine who took that step, the devastation that is left behind, the guilt that people feel left behind is just immeasurable. And it is something that is, poor Tim Bergling's dad, Class, he just said it is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life. So the effect it can have. In some ways, people seem to I don't know, make it out to be a really you know, positive thing that they're doing, committing suicide. Actually, when you look and hear people talking about it and you see the effect it's had on them, it is anything but that. Even if you are, all I would say, and again, this is just my opinion. You know, there's nothing behind it other than my thoughts that even if you feel you have got absolutely nothing to contribute in this life, your superpower is sticking around because people love having you around. And even if you are struggling at this point, that moment's going to pass. Better days are ahead. Whatever the situation is now, it will not last. And you just hanging on in there is so much better for the people around you. So much better that you cannot comprehend. And just by doing nothing, you are doing everything. You don't have to suddenly become rich. You don't suddenly have to find a house. You don't suddenly have to find a job. You don't suddenly have to do whatever it is that you think you have to do. No, 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 no. You just still being here is your superpower. You just being here on the planet, just ready for that moment, for that opportunity when the very reason you are here on the planet shows itself. That's what you're here for. So do nothing. If you're thinking of going down this route, stop. Do nothing. Do nothing. I don't care if you stay in bed for 3 months non-stop. That people can deal with. If you are not around, people cannot deal with it. And I just think that is, you don't have to suddenly transform yourself. You don't have to suddenly be amazing. You don't have to wake up one day and everything's good. Just stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Everything will get better. I promise you. And it can get better by those around you helping you. And if you say that you've got nobody around you, your superpower is staying here. Because that person is coming to meet up with you from the most unexpected direction. When you least expect it, they're coming. And what they're saying is, whilst they're on their way, you need to get happy with yourself. You need to get comfortable with yourself. You need to get to like yourself. And then you need to get to love yourself. And as soon as you begin to love yourself, somebody else will come along and say, hey, I love what's in you and the fact that you love yourself. I love that. And that person will appear. That person will appear. And if in 50 years' time that hasn't happened yet, we'll have another conversation. In 50 years' time, okay, 2070, I will be 100. Yeah? And when we meet up, it'll be me who will be the person that is in your life. But in those 50 years, if you're telling me that if you begin to like yourself and love yourself, that nobody will turn up, I'll be there for you 50 years' time. Stick around. Hang around. Stay. Stay here. Do nothing if you want for 50 years. I'll catch up with you. I'll catch up with you eventually. I'll be there. I'll be there. That's my superpower, and that's your superpower, is hanging around for the next 50 years. That's my intention. I always remember a DJ who once said, my aim is to be immortal. And so far, it's going all right. That's kind of where I'm coming from. So this is devastating. When I see somebody like this, a father who is still a couple of years after the son has committed suicide, he's still struggling to make sense of it. And he's saying, look, World Mental Health Day, this is important. We need to do it. And one of the things that he said can make a difference. So when I said, we've got to drive forward, and we've got to look at ways that we can, be positive about the future, because you can't change what's behind you. That's gone. That's gone. All we can do is from this moment forwards, that's what we can change. And he said one of the best things is talking. Now, immediately I said that, two voices in my head. One said, "That's exactly what you're doing, Nige. Well done." Whilst the other voice said, "You're a pillock. Nobody's listening. Get lost." Well, maybe nobody is listening. Maybe nobody will listen to this for a week, a month, a year, 10 years. I don't care, because I'm hoping that at that point, whenever somebody watches it, the pebble I am dropping now, it may have taken 10 years for those ripples to reach them. But that positivity and those little tips as to how to do it, just hang around. Just things will change, things will improve, things will get better. The person that you want to meet is on their way, but you've got to hang around so that you can meet up. If that message gets through in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, who knows when, then that's why I'm doing it. So talk to people, and one of the things that at school, I remember at my kids' school, the headmistress sometimes puts a weekly newsletter out, and it has a boys' tip of the week. And this one really, I've tried it, and it kind of works, and it's interesting. And one of the things that it says is, if you sit down with your kids, especially boys, and you try and have a face-to-face conversation, so say you're having a meal and you try and have a face-to-face conversation, and you said, "Oh, how was school?" "Yeah, fine." "What did you do?" "Nothing." "What made you laugh at school today?" "Nothing." "What did you learn?" "Nothing." "What did the teacher say?" "Nothing." "Did you play sport?" "Can't remember." You get nowhere, do you? One of the amazing things that they suggested is, if you go for a walk with your kids. Now, it's pretty damned hard to to get them to leave in this day and age. First world problem, screen time, people, just zoning in, just being on that, just non-stop. They're there all the time, just on a screen with their friends, headphones on like this, but just talking to people, playing games. It's hard to get them out and walking. But if you do, you will be amazed. That tip, go for a walk and try talking. It's incredible. Now, I don't know if it's the fact that you're both looking forward and not looking at each other. But if you said, "Oh, how was school?" Instead of just getting, "Okay," they'll go, "Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, it was quite good." And said, "Oh, and did anything much happen?" "Oh, well, so-and-so did this, and then that happened. And, oh, did you go swimming or do any PE or games or something?" "Oh, yeah, we did this. Oh, and it was funny because we did that. And then the teacher did this, and then we had to come in and do that. And lunch was terrible, and I had to queue up, and the food was awful. And somebody picked up a beef burger and threw it across the room like a frisbee, and it actually embedded itself in the door like a ninja throwing star." And you almost get verbal diarrhea from them. And you go, wow. So maybe when you're talking to people, the best way to talk to someone is in the circumstances where they feel easiest in opening up. And that, if you try it, I've tried it, as I say, get the kids out, come on, let's go walk the dog, and they reluctantly come out, and it can take 20 minutes to put a pair of wellies on or something like, the situation if you've got kids. It's a absolute nightmare trying to drag them out of the house. But once you get them out and you get them talking, they pick up a stick, if you've got boys, and they're swishing around and they're picking stuff up and they're looking around and they're chatting, and it's incredible. So when we say we've got to talk to people, sitting down face to face may not be the best environment. Look at those stats. 3 out of every 4 suicides in the UK are young men. 3 out of every 4. And young men, sitting down, put them under pressure, spotlight, face to face, maybe it's not the best scenario. Maybe if you could meet up with a mate who's having a tough time and you go for a walk. I don't know. The tip was, this works with kids of school age, but maybe it still works, at an older age. Some people like golf, some people hate it. I just say, but that's a great way to get someone out. and do something. You know, you're trapped on a golf course. You have to walk. You have to walk together. You have to chat and stuff, and you can have a bit of fun, bit of banter, and you can find things out. Um, I know some people like to just go off and walk up a hill or something. You know, give it a go. Give it a go. Maybe this is the way on this World Mental Health Day that is a great way of doing things. And the thing is, I think what the whole world misses is the obvious comparison between physical fitness and mental fitness. Now, I'm going to just throw a fairly simple question at you. But how do people get physically fit? Okay, so I'm sort of listening out here. How do people get physically fit? And Simon who's just saying, wow. Let me just, I don't know if they're, Simon, hey, cheers. I like that. A big wow. But here's a question for you. How do you get physically fit? Well, I tell you for sure, it is not, as far as I'm aware, unless everyone is wrong. But as far as I'm aware, it's not doing nothing, sitting around, watching TV, eating too much, and not looking after yourself. Everyone would go, yeah, of course, yeah. It's that's absolutely, yeah. You can't get physically fit doing all the wrong things. Yeah, you cannot get physically fit doing the wrong things. I've never seen an Olympic athlete who, when they say, "Oh, what did your coach say?" Oh, the coach said, "Just take 2 weeks lying on the settee." And what did your coach say about your, talk me through your diet? Oh, well, I kick off with, a full English breakfast, and then I have some pancakes, and then I have a bit of a burger for lunch, and then I have fish and chips for tea, and then I'll have about 6 pints. You never hear that, do you? You never hear that. And why is it obvious? How is it so obvious to it? Because someone who's physically fit, we can see them. We can see it. We can see somebody is fit, chiseled, fast at running, good at throwing, jumping, whatever, hitting a ball with whatever implement. We can see it. We can see it. The trouble with this, our mental fitness, is we can't see it. So we don't know. We can, if we're walking down a street, you can see someone who is, on the body mass index or whatever, who is going towards the obese range. You can see that. But if that same person walked past, could you see what their mental health is? Could you see someone who's physically fit? Can you see what their mental health is? And we only need to look at it that the two are not necessarily, if you're good at one, are you good at the other? Not necessarily. We've got people physically fit who are mentally unfit. We've got people who are physically unfit who are mentally super fit. But the weird thing is, I think the two are helped. So if you become physically fitter, just go out and walk and talk, I think you become mentally fitter. Why is that? Well, let's think about it. How would you recommend, if someone says they're physically unfit, what would you recommend for them to do? Well, I know a lot of people in the pandemic here in the UK. There's one, and I think it's by the NHS, which is Couch to 5K. So this is somebody who spends their time sitting on the settee. All right, this is how to get yourself to be able to run 5Ks. Yeah, about 3 miles. To go from doing nothing to doing 5Ks. This is, they've probably never done it for years, if ever. And they're looking at it going, I can't do it, but I can get to there. But what does it do? It breaks it down. It breaks it down into, okay, let's get out there and let's try walking for a bit. And I'm going to be in your ears, put your headphones on. I'm going to be saying, right, let's walk. And then you'd be, okay, for the next 30 seconds, we're going to run for 30 seconds. Then we're going to walk 30 seconds or a minute, whatever it is. And we're going to do this pattern. And then tomorrow we're going to come back and we're going to try doing 2 bits of running for 30 seconds. Okay. And then we'll keep building on that. And it's step by step by step. And you begin to see the improvement. You begin to see the change. You begin to feel the change. Begin to feel the change. And what do people say there? Hey, as I get physically fitter, I begin to feel a little bit more positive. Because what's one of the things that I'm sure brings most people down? It's how we look and how we feel physically. So if we're just doing this, is this helping our mental well-being? Yeah, I think so. But what does that show about physical fitness? It shows that you have to do something. It shows you have to get up and do it. You can break it down into steps and do little chunks. And, you know, all praise to the likes of Mr. Motivator. I saw him on telly this morning. He's been doing this for 30 years, helping the nation get going. Joe Wicks, who's been doing his PE, you know, yeah, fantastic. Getting honoured in the Queen's delayed birthday honours here in the UK. You know, quite right. Getting people out there doing stuff, it helps. But what do you say? You say that you know, the fact that you're doing that, you can see an improvement in your physical fitness. You can see an improvement in your physical fitness just doing these little steps, these little things, and you've got someone helping. You've got someone who's there on your side, in your ears, just giving it a bit of this. Come on, you can do it. Let's just do 30 seconds. Let's count it down. 30 seconds. We can do it. I don't care how fast you're running. Let's just go beyond the walk. Come on, let's just get it going. 30 seconds, 25 seconds. Keep going. 20 seconds. Hey, this is good. You're a third of the way through. Hey, look at that. It's 20 seconds. You know, whatever it is. 15 seconds. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done. Well done. It's there. It's almost like someone's replaced the voice that is saying, stay on the settee. Yeah, look at it. Look at the weather. Look at the weather. Look at it. It's cold. Looks a bit rainy. Hey? Looks a bit rainy. Why would you want to go out in the cold and the rain? Sit here on the couch and watch that TV. But no, this other voice is saying, come on. Let's give it a go. Look, I'm in the first week. I'm only going to do 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's like I could do it almost in the adverts of the stuff I'm watching. Right, come on, let's go out there. I don't need fancy gear. I don't need fancy gear because I'm not Usain Bolt at this point. I'm not Mo Farah. I'm just going out there, so I don't need fancy gear. I'll do it in my jeans. Jeans and a T-shirt and a hoodie, you know. But I'm going to give it a go. And you go, come back. Ooh, well, okay, I've done it. I've done it, and you can see the improvement. Mental health. How do we do that? How do we do that? Where's the couch to 5K version of mental health? You know, we can't see that improvement. And it's very hard. If you were doing it, say there were a few of you in your family and said, hey, look, or a couple of friends said, look, we're allowed out to do a bit of exercise. I really want to get moving. Have you seen this app, Couch to 5K? How about you do it? Would you do it with me? Would you, I'll support you. You support me. It's something that's easy to do. When it comes to mental health, on World Mental Health Day, how do we do that? How do we do that? Where are the steps to do that? Where is it that it says here, like on the What's My Superpower podcast? What is my superpower? How do I reveal that? Is my superpower just to wake up in a morning with a positive thought? Good morning, good morning. I love my life, and today's my favorite day. I am truly blessed. Just start with that. Right at the beginning of this, I said I couldn't remember it. But that, when I wake up, I say that. Hey, it gives me a positive thought. Start with that. I'm going to give you another one that you can do. This is another 30 seconds of running for your physical fitness. This is a little comment that you can say, which is like another 30-second boost of running and the benefits you'll get from it. When somebody says, how are you? Shock them. Stun them. Make them, think to themselves, what the hell's up with you? Because when they say, how you doing? Just say, hey, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. How are you? People cannot believe it. And the people I love to do it on most are when you get a cold call on the phone and they go, yes, Mr. Best. Yes, how are you today? Do you know what? I am absolutely fantastic. Couldn't be better. Fantastic. And when that cold caller gets that, they're not expecting that. And they go, oh, right. Okay. Anyway, I want to know, were you involved in an accident or whatever the heck it is? And you just, you've absolutely thrown them, because no one is expecting anyone when they say, how are you? They're not expecting that as an answer. And in fact, someone once said, when they ask the question, how are you? 80% of people aren't bothered what you say, and 20% of people are quite happy if you say terrible. It's one of these things, isn't it? But nobody expected to say, hey, I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. What a brilliant day. I can't believe it. Absolutely fantastic. How are you? And all right, you might be stretching the truth a bit. You might not be feeling fantastic. No, you might not. Let's be frank about this. You might not. You might not be at the peak of whatever and everything. However, the very fact you say it, if you have said hello to a few people, wherever it might be, whatever circumstances, whenever you're going out at the moment, during lockdown or post-lockdown or wherever you are, if you're out and you're meeting people and people say, hey, how you doing? Or someone phones you up, hey, how you doing? Just keep saying it. Hey, do you know what? I'm absolutely fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you? That, the more you say it, it's like a 30-second bit of running in your transformation from the couch to the 5K runner. From someone who can do no physical exercise to someone who can run 5 kilometers non-stop. That's what you're doing. And on World Mental Health Day, I'm saying that let's start in the morning. This is your first bit of, how to get your mental health going, because we do not exercise our mental health like we see all these people out there doing for the physical health. So we don't see it. It's not as easy to do. We can't see any transformation in ourselves. We can't see ourselves getting thinner, stronger, whatever it is, more flexible or bendy or whatever it might be that you're doing on your physical exercise. We can't see that on the mental health side of things. We can't see it. But I'm saying the first thing we do is transform some of the things we say. And the first one is getting up in the morning. I want you to promise that when you get up tomorrow morning, so whenever you're watching this, I don't care whenever you're watching this, when you get up in the morning, you say to yourself, either out loud or in your head, good morning, I love my life, and today is my favorite day. I am truly blessed. I want you to say that. Good morning, I love my life, and today is my favorite day. I am truly blessed. Say that every morning when you get up. I want you to say it. That is like a 30-second bit of running. When you've done no running, this is a 30-second bit. We're not going to go straight to mental health superiority and prowess and strength at the moment. We're doing these little bits, just like the couch to 5K. Couch to 5K, you do it in steps. You walk a bit, you run a bit, you walk a bit, you run a bit, and then you walk a little bit less and run a bit more. And then you end up doing, I'm running for quite a bit, and then a little walk, and then a bit more running and a little walk, until you get to the point where you can run the whole way. This is what we're doing, and we're starting in the morning. And then the second thing I want you to do is, when you are out there and you're on the phone and somebody phones you up, or you meet someone, you do manage to get out and you get to a coffee or wherever it is, and someone says, hey, how are you? Just say to them, look them straight in the eye, or say it with real conviction. Because you are not only telling them, but you are telling your own body this. You say, hey, do you know what? I am absolutely fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you? I want you to say that. I am fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you? And just see their reaction. First of all, they think you're a crackpot. They think if anyone is suffering at the moment, it's you, mate. Fantastic. What the hell? And he's going, no. And if they ask, say, because I am doing a mental couch to 5K, and this is part of it. I am telling you, I am telling myself, I am fantastic. And the more you say things, the more you agree and believe, And the more you will begin to realize, do you know what? I actually do feel fantastic. Yeah, everything's going wrong. The economy's tanking. The weather's terrible. I can't go on holiday and all the rest of it. But actually, me, myself, right here, I choose to feel fantastic. I choose to feel fantastic. Why? Because you can choose. Nobody can ever take away that choice from you. You always have a choice. And if you don't believe me, read a book by Viktor Frankl called Man's Search for Meaning. And there was a guy who was subjected to extraordinary hardship, as so many millions were in the concentration camps in Second World War. And he always said what got him through was his ability to choose how to take what was happening to him. And he chose to take it and say, this ain't going to last. This ain't going to last, and I'm going to last. I'm going to still be around. And he made that choice. So if someone in that situation, when people were performing medical experiments on him with no anesthetic, when people were doing horrific, inexplicable things to him, he still chose to look at the positive side. He still chose to do that. If somebody in that situation still says he has a choice, we most certainly always have a choice. And choose to say, hey, I feel fantastic. Choose to say in the morning, good morning to yourself. Choose to do these things. Because I think the ability to choose is, in this edition, that's your superpower. You have, so when you look at that, where is it? Over here. What's my superpower? Okay. Your superpower is the ability to tell yourself anything you want. It's the ability to choose to feel any which way you want. And if you were doing a physical couch to 5K runner, so no physical exercise to 5K run, you can do it in little steps and you get little helpers along the way. I'm saying if we're doing a mental health on World Mental Health Day, if we are doing a mental move from being, on the couch with our mental health to being able to run 5Ks with our mental health, the first two things of those little bits of running, so the rest is walking at the moment. We're still walking. We're still walking at this point, mental health. We're still walking. But the first one is when you get up. Good morning. I love my life. And today is my favorite day. I am truly blessed. That's number one. And then whenever, somebody speaks to you, calls you up, or you go somewhere, or even if you don't go anywhere, as you walk past the mirror, just look in the mirror and go, hey, how are you? And look yourself in the eye and go, hey, do you know what? I am fantastic. Thanks for asking. How are you? Ask yourself the question. Ask yourself the question. If you don't see anyone, don't speak to anyone that particular day, ask yourself the question. There you go. And on this World Mental Health Day, with what I'd call a suicide pandemic, with 800,000 people losing their lives in this way, if you know someone who might be in a situation like that, then my tip to you is from my school where my boys are, and they said a way to talk to a boy is not to sit them down and do a face-to-face conversation. It's go do something, some physical action, and the best one is a walk. Just go for a walk with them and just have a chat. Just shoot the breeze, chew the fat, talk about a few things, and then just sort of bring it in and say, maybe you want to say, hey, do you know what? I was listening to someone the other day. It was this guy who was a bit of a crackpot, because what he said was you should wake up in the morning and say, good morning. I love my life, and today is my favorite day. You should say that to yourself. And then he said, whatever somebody says when they say, how are you? You should say, hey, and say it with real conviction. Hey, do you know what? I'm fantastic. I am fantastic. How are you? Thanks for asking. And do you know what? I started doing it, and it's really helping. And then the other thing he said was, when someone feels like they're at the end of the road, he said, no, they're not at the end of the road. He said he's got a mug, and he said, he said, on this mug, it says, everything will be all right in the end. And it says, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. And he said, all you have to do is just hang around, stick around, because whatever it is going to pass. Something good's coming your way, but you got to stick around in order to receive that good stuff. And he said about these things, people think the world would be better without them, but the world isn't better without them. The world is better with them, right here, right now, and for as long as possible. For as long as nature, God, the universe intends to stick around. Because that person who thinks they should go instead needs to stick around, pick up a pebble, drop it in the pond, and see the ripples of how they can support and change and affect people's life. And they'll say, what is this guy? Some sort of superhero or something? What is he? He's got superpowers? He said, well, actually, he calls himself a bit of a part-time hero, but he's aiming to become a full-time superhero. What? Are you kidding? Yeah, and you need to listen to him. His name is Nigel T. Best. His podcast is What's My Superpower? And Simon, I'm just loving that. Thank you so much indeed. I just want people to share it, to get out there and say, please, if you're thinking of going down that road, please don't. Just stay. Do nothing. If you do nothing for the next year, I don't care. The people around you love you, support you. Getting a bit harder to speak, but people love you, support you, want you to stick around, want you to enjoy life. And it can start with some simple things, which include learning to love yourself. Like yourself first. Hey, stop hating yourself. Just learn to sort of kind of be indifferent about yourself. And then maybe you get to like yourself. And then maybe the next step, as we talk further, you get to sort of, actually, he's not bad, that guy. And you talk to yourself and you go, actually, you're all right. At times, you're quite good. And eventually, maybe we can all get to the point where we learn to love ourselves, because I think as soon as we love ourselves, we're able to love the world around us and love the people around us. And I think on that, as a World Mental Health Day, if this time next year we see that number from 800,000, let's see if we can. 0 is what we all want, but let's see if we could, knock 10% off, 20%, 50%. Can we halve it? I think if we start sharing the message and getting out there, then I would love that to be the case. But for this, it's a Saturday, October 2020, 10th of October, I think it is, World Mental Health Day. My name's Nigel T. Best. Thank you so much to anyone's there. Please share it. Please, talk to people and try that thing of what you say when you get up in the morning. Try that thing of, when people say, how are you? And how about you try just getting a friend who might be a bit flat at the moment, a little bit down. Let's metaphorically and physically and really take them on a different path. Go for a walk, have a chat, and see if you can find out a little bit more about what makes people tick. Because we can see physical fitness, we can't see mental fitness. And we can get apps that go coach to 5K for physical fitness, take you from not running to being able to run. We don't have the same things. So we've got to help each other here. We've got to share tips and things that might help. It might not help everyone, but if it helped one person, if that little stone that dropped in the pond sends a ripple that manages to touch someone, maybe that's good enough, because maybe then they take the pebble and drop it in their pond, and that ripple hits 5 people. And those 5 people do it, and they share, and they share, and they share. And I think that when you look at that, what's my superpower? Okay, I'm hoping it's the ability for people to sort of go, I want to make a difference. My superpower today is I'm going to phone that mate. I'm going to go round. We're going to go for a walk, and I'm going to have that chat. And maybe it's you that needs the chat, and maybe it's your mate that just needs to be there. Maybe it's you that sort of says, look, would you mind coming for a walk? I want to just, I just want to talk to someone. Maybe you need to ask that question of a friend. Hey, and a friend in need is a friend indeed. So before I burst into tears at that point, thank you very much. Love you loads. And in the meantime, be super. Bye for now.